The first quarterback in West Florida history has returned to be the Argos head coach. After leading UWF to a 5-6 record as a quarterback in the program's first year, Kaleb Nobles was on the coaching staff when West Florida played in the championship game in 2017 and when they won it all 2 years later. When an opportunity to coach at Clemson under Dabo Swinney arose, Nobles took it. But the allure of returning to Pensacola to be the head coach at the program he helped start proved too much. Coming off of spring ball, the 29-year-old coach goes inside D2Football. Before we talk about your coaching career and where you are now, you were a member of the Valdosta State football team. You left Valdosta State and went to West Florida. You were the first starting quarterback in West Florida football history. So what was the process of moving on from Valdosta, and why did you decide to make that move?
Yeah, for me, I mean, I come from a coaching family background, and so I love football, love everything to do with football, and so I was at Valdosta from 12 to 15, and so whenever we in 2013 we played Coach Chennink and University of North Carolina Pembroke, we played them at Valdosta. So I got a chance to play them, and I love football, so I watched their offense while they were on the field and just kind of liked what they were doing. And then just knowing, Southeastern football, I knew that, somebody starting a D2, Florida Tech had already started. So they had the whole state to recruit. And then, knowing that there was going to be another D2 in the state of Florida, I kind of knew that, all right, they got a chance to be pretty good pretty quick. And I wanted to go somewhere and play and be part of kind of an upstart program. I thought that would be kind of fun. And I had no idea that I wanted to get into coaching at that point. And so that kind of obviously snowballed pretty quickly after. But just knowing, I had a feeling that they could be pretty good pretty quick. I was the old guy on the team. When I first got here, I was 22, 23 years old that season, and everybody was 18, 19 years old. So, yeah, it was definitely a sometimes struggle of a year, obviously with a bunch of young guys, but it was the funnest year of my life as a player for sure. It was great.
Well, you say you struggled, and I know you guys, basically scrimmaged each other for a year, but you finished 5-6 in the first year of a program's existence. I think that's pretty good. In spite of the struggle, were you surprised that you guys could win 5 games that year?
No, not at all. And I think there's a couple games that I could go back and look at, especially being the starting quarterback. I'm still kind of frustrated. We lost some of those games. We had a couple games late down to the wire that could have gone either way. So that I was not surprised at all when we looked at our schedule. It was very favorable as far as playing certain teams, and we did. We just kind of ran out of gas towards the end of the season.
Right.
But yeah, I knew that we could play well, and I knew the team we had as far as being the quarterback and being the guy that everybody kind of looked to for leadership. I knew that we had a chance to be good. At that early part of the program, it's all about depth then. A lot of teams that are in the conference, they got had a lot of depth built up, and so for us, it's just recruiting the depth, getting after that.
Well, I thought 5 wins. I was shocked at the time that West Florida was able to win 5 in his first year of existence. The second year, you're no longer a player, but your team's in Kansas City playing for the national championship. That's incredible progress. What happened that allowed you guys to go from 5-6 to an appearance in a national championship game that year?
Yeah, for us, I mean, it was just like going through that first season. I immediately became a GA working with the quarterbacks after that, and so we're playing with a redshirt freshman quarterback, Mike Beaudry, who did a great job and then led us to a lot of successful wins. For us, it was kind of, we joked about it as a staff after, but we knew we had a chance to be pretty good. Obviously, nobody in the country, including us, thought, okay, we're going to be in Kansas City in December. Really, it didn't hit us until we're standing out there probably Thursday taking a team picture that we're like, hey, well, daggum if we ain't in Kansas City playing for the national championship. It was kind of just at that point of the program, our guys didn't know what they didn't know. They didn't know, what it meant to go on a playoff run. They didn't know what it meant to, be in the playoffs at all. And so it was just kind of us showing up every day, going to work, and all right, well, if we do good and take care of our business on Saturday, we're going to do this again next Monday, next Tuesday, next Wednesday. And so it was really just the guys kind of feeling what it meant to be a winner from that first year and win some games, and then realizing, okay, we can compete with some of the teams in the conference. We can play with them. And obviously having to play, we played West Georgia twice within 3 weeks. We played West Al in the third round before we went up to a cold IUP game. And then just ran into a really good team in Commerce who was, I mean, we hung with them the whole game, but
Right.
the quarterback they had was a very special player. They had obviously big O-line, D-line, and then the skilled guys on the perimeter were really good players. But there's, we even go back and look at a couple plays, and we feel like, all right, we're a couple plays from even winning a national championship in 2 years. So obviously a lot of unprecedented success early that we don't know that anybody, a startup program is really going to hopefully not surpass that quickly.
2 years later, you're in a national championship game again. You're still a coach, coaching quarterbacks. What was different the second time around when you were in the national championship game?
For our guys then, that next year, really, we had a tough 2018 season. We had a lot of growth, a lot of guys that were, at that point, that was their fourth or fifth year in the program. And so we had been on kind of the losing big early in the first year. We'd won some games, obviously been successful in year two. Year three was kind of the year where I think our guys almost expected that was what was going to happen. And I think a lot of times as these guys grow up and learn, like usually what you expect to happen is not always going to happen. And so that, it was kind of, we were thinking we're just going to naturally be in the national championship again. And there is a lot of good football teams on our level, and especially in the GSC that, put a stop to that. So then 2019, our guys just bought into the process of the work and all right, it doesn't matter what anybody else outside of our building says. It's all about us. And, we got hot at the right time, lost to Valdosta in the regular season for the GSC championship, which ended up being the GSC championship. And caught them just at a bad time. But then the streak we went on playing West Al after that, and then just going on a run of 6 wins in a row. Our guys I think the Valdosta game that first time in the regular season really kind of let our guys know, okay, if they're the number one team in the country, we lose to them within a touchdown. All right, we got a chance to, if we take care of our business, we got a chance to play and at least, make a run in the playoffs. The 17 run was just kind of, all right, we're kind of shocked that we're here. Nobody really expected it. In 19, it was like, okay, we deserve to be here. We've earned this. We know we can play at a high level. And then getting to the national championship and do what we did was kind of, that was what we expected to do. We expected to go there and play well in all three facets. And obviously, winning a national championship in year 4 is very unprecedented. So let's hopefully that we can keep up the success here and nobody beats that record.
This is all part of your coaching journey. On that journey, you moved to Clemson. Now, we're, D2 football. That's what we cover. That's what we care about. And normally we don't get awestruck by moving or people going to a Division I program because, quite frankly, sometimes there's not much more prestige in the programs that they go to. That's a little different when you're talking about Clemson. And you had a chance to go there. You had a chance to work on a staff, under Dabo Swinney. What did you learn there? What was that like?
Yeah, I think for me, I've been blessed with like a very unique early coaching career, right? So I've been obviously a GA, quarterback coach, coordinator on this level. And then being able to go there to Clemson, I was blessed to be here with Coach Chennink and be under a great culture, a great staff, doing things the right way. Right. And so I had family connections to Clemson in the past, and that had nothing to do with me getting a job. It just kind of out of nowhere happened. Basically got a call on like a Wednesday night, said I need you here on Monday. And so that was kind of learned how the FBS recruiting and job cycle works. You better be able to go quickly. But for me, it was awesome for me to see that Coach Swinney does everything the right way and he's successful on that level. Obviously, during college football is a crazy business and it's getting crazier by the day. You hear a lot of stories of people not doing things the right way and they're being successful. But you hear a lot of stories of people doing the right way, and they may not be playing in the playoffs, playing in a championship. And so for me, it was kind of like a even more reaffirmation that, all right, I can, if I ever get a chance to lead my program, no matter what level I'm on, I can lead in the right way, do things the right way, not cuss, not be little players, and still be successful. Because now I've seen the highest level. I've seen it on almost every level of football. And so for me, it's been a great opportunity I'm a big note taker, as most coaches are. Of, all right, this is what I would do. This is what I wouldn't do. This is how things look the right way. This is how things, what I would change and all that. So for me, it was a great experience. I was able to work with the wide receivers and the quarterbacks in my 2 years there. And, but obviously when an opportunity to come back home to UWF calls, that's something I couldn't turn down. So it's been a great couple of years. I'm excited to be back.
Right. Were you aware that Pete Chennink was moving on, or was that a surprise?
I wouldn't say it was a surprise. Obviously, I don't want to get into all the info and all the whole timeline
Right.
of it, but
Right.
I knew there was a potential that this might be happening. And I kind of heard some rumbles and some rumors from inside the program, outside the program. And so, but it was very fast when it happened. I
Right.
know that they finished at Ferris State on Saturday, and then there was on the Tuesday was when I was able to get announced. So there was obviously some conversations that went on
Right.
as far as the administration side on this side, and then with me. And so obviously the big thing for us was trying to move fast because trying to with how the transfer portal is nowadays, trying to keep guys out of the portal. And so that was kind of the reasoning for moving quickly. And
Right.
obviously, if there was not a connection between me and the university in the past, this wouldn't happen as quickly. So there was some prior conversations really quickly after that Ferris State game because obviously nothing would
Right.
happen if we to beat Ferris State, but just there was a lot of different conversations going on that maybe one day will get put in a book or something.
Very good. So, you've been West Florida, Clemson, now back to West Florida. Pete Chennink moves on. Obviously, there are some very successful coaches, very good coaches at West Florida. Some of them went with Coach Chennink, but you were able to retain a couple on your staff. Ron Dickerson was a coach for you, who's now your offensive coordinator. Tell me about Ron and tell me about his philosophy and what you guys are going to do on offense.
Yeah, so obviously with me coming back, I had a big hand in the offense here before,
Right.
helping with Coach Chennink and Coach Sonye, who were here for a while. And so Coach Dickerson he's understands the system. He's been here for the last 2 seasons. He actually got hired here not long after I left to go to Clemson. Our wide receivers coach went to Gardner Webb at that point. That was still with us, and we won it. And so he understands the familiarity with the offense. He knows kind of what I want to do. It's been a really good transition process for kind of what he wants to mesh, what I want to mesh. Really kind of a big melting pot of kind of what I've wanted to do over the years and what we've done here at West Florida. Kind of a mix of Clemson stuff that we use there. Really just stuff that we see football wise, watching TV, and we're like, hey, I'll text him and send him a random play on Twitter, a random video of a play. Hey, I like this. Let's do this. He's been great as far as getting that stuff and understanding. Him and I work very well together because I'm going to work with the quarterback specifically. That's what I played, obviously. So have a big hand in that. And then a big part of it too was keeping our O-line coach, our Steve Sonye, who's assistant head coach, O-line coach. He's a great man. He obviously was with Coach Chennink for 16 years, and so it's a major transition to not be with Coach Chennink anymore.
Right.
But if you know Coach Sonye, he's the happiest guy you're ever going to meet. He is Argo through and through, and everybody on our campus, not just in athletics, loves him. So that was kind of those were my first 2 phone calls to see what I could do to make those work.
So Cavell Connor, your defensive coordinator, somebody that you met at Clemson and somebody that is now your DC. Tell us about him.
Yeah, so him and I had the blessing. He got hired at Clemson probably a month or 2 after I got hired, and so just kind of struck up a relationship through that, just kind of working and talking football all the time. Obviously, a lot of these jobs just come by, hiring people who know football.
Of course.
So being able to work with him and just kind of talk X's and O's in football, but also kind of seeing the leader of men that he is, knowing how he was. He played in the NFL for 6 years, played in Canadian League for a couple of years, obviously played at Clemson. My brother and Cavell played together at Clemson, so I knew the name. But then when you start working with somebody, that's a whole different relationship. So just kind of, for me, obviously the X's and O's is big, but seeing how he handled and talked to the players when he was legally allowed to talk to them. Obviously, we weren't do coaching on the field and things like that, both being analysts, but, just how he handled the men, it always felt like there was players with Cavell, talking to Cavell. And so for me, that goes a long ways. That means there's a relationship, not just on the field, but off the field. So whenever I had the opportunity, when I got the job, it was kind of worked out very quick. There was a lot of things that kind of led to me hiring Cavell. And so I was able to get him very quickly and was able to pull him to the ranks. And he's done a great job. Obviously, our spring game being tonight, hopefully I get after him on offense, and he's doing a good job on defense. But our guys have loved the new system, loved him. He's done a great job with the players and really showing them what it means to be a man, both on and off the field.
West Florida has been known for offense, and quite frankly, we've been, critical of the defense because it just hasn't stopped people like it theoretically could as a program and in the Gulf South Conference. Is defensive improvement one of your key goals there?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say we've played bad defense over the years. I think we've been pretty good on defense since 2016, 2017, 18. Coach Darian Doolin did a great job, and obviously going to do a great job at Towson. He's very chaotic on defense, and I thought we created some good chaos on defense that gave people a lot of fits, and I thought he did a phenomenal job here. Coach Connor obviously is, anytime we have a chance to improve in anything is a big thing for us. And so I want us to be known as a physical team on both sides of the football. We're going to run the football, and we're going to play great defense and stop the run and make people pass it. And I said it in my press conference, but I want people to remember what it feels like to play West Florida. That's physicality. That's getting after the football. If you come out in our practice, you're going to hear me yelling probably 1,000 times, chase the ball, because I want our guys, I want all 11 on defense to be around the football when that whistle, the echo of the whistle happens. And so, yeah, I mean, it's an improvement on all three facets of the game is the biggest thing for us because, anytime you don't win the national championship, there's room for improvement. And I still think we have a chance to keep getting better as a team. We've done a great job in spring of attacking the installs, attacking everything that we need to get better as a program.
On offense, Peewee Jarrett was brought in last year by Coach Chennink. Has had some offseason knee surgery. Can you update us with where Peewee is and what the quarterback situation is for you guys?
Yes, obviously when Peewee returning, he had an unbelievable year last year. Had a lot of yards passing, a lot of yards rushing. He's a great athlete, phenomenal athlete that we want to use in the run game. Want to make sure we're taking care of him. Obviously, a lot of those hits throughout the year build up, and so I don't want him to be hobbling through a semifinal or a national championship game if we get the chance to be there. He's a great kid. First of all, he's me working with the quarterbacks. I'm with him every morning, every day, and so he's an unbelievable kid. Comes from a great family. He's obviously from Des Moines, Iowa. Had a chance to. This is my first time. I know they recruited him a year after I left the first time, and so had a chance to finally meet him in my press conference, and that was obviously 4 days after losing to Ferris. So he's in there on crutches, got his hand bandaged up, just like he'd been through a full battle the past couple of weeks, and so he has not done a whole bunch with us this spring just because of the knee injury. He's ahead of schedule as far as the recovery time. He's been able to do some Pascal stuff with us the past couple of weeks. He's looked great in Pascal. We got a great quarterback room, a lot of talent there, a lot of guys from Alabama, Florida area who come in and have a really good arm talent and guys that we know that can play a high level football. And obviously with Peewee being one of the, I think, if not the best, probably one of the best returning quarterbacks in college football this year. I think he's got a great chance to do great things coming up, just like the rest of our quarterback room.
Last year on our Sunday night show, Inside D2Football, we talked to Coach Chennink, and we talked about your offense. And one of the things he mentioned was that, the play calling was a little different where they were relying on the run more than they had, especially the quarterback run. You mentioned keeping him healthy. Does that mean that there'll likely be fewer quarterback runs called, or are you still going to be aggressive on the ground with Peewee?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm gonna do what it takes to win, right? I'm gonna do whatever we got to do because that's what is my job is based on wins and losses and doing well on game day. But I'm a big long-term thinker, and so for me, it's about I want to make sure that I'm keeping him healthy. We have very good returning running backs. We got Shamari Mason and C.J. Wilson coming back, who are phenomenal running backs, and so I think there's ways we can get them the ball more and not have to have Peewee carry it as much. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna do what we got to do to win, right? That's the biggest thing. Get the playoffs. But I think we can do a lot of things with the O-line we have and with the running backs we have to use the running backs a lot more. And they used them a bunch last year. I'm not saying they didn't utilize them, but zone read stuff becomes a lot more quarterback pull sometimes, just depending on the team. So I would hope to keep him healthy. That's the biggest goal because I think I want him to play the whole season. But got to do what we got to do to win. Right.
So Peewee was, you got Peewee through the portal transfer, I guess, because from junior college to West Florida. But Pete Chennink used the portal to his advantage. West Florida seems to be a destination for some kids when it comes to the portal. You're going to continue to use that?
Yeah, we're going to use it where we need to. My two biggest things for the program is recruiting our locker room. That's the biggest thing because I want to keep our guys out of the portal. That was my mission day one, is to get here and get our roster set and make sure we don't lose too many guys to the portal. We only lost a couple. And then recruiting the local area for us is huge. And so trying to get into the local high schools because West Florida is a great school and it's not easy to get into academically. And so we're very selective in the recruiting process. But the biggest thing for us is for us to take a transfer, take a portal guy, it's got to be somebody who we know is going to uphold the standards of the culture and the program. And so we've had some guys who have come in and identified that, and they've done a very good job, and they've come in and make an impact very quickly. Obviously, we've got a multitude of wide receivers and running backs and quarterbacks and everybody position-wise on defense have come in and made an impact as far as a transfer. The state of Florida is flooded with unbelievable football players that go and play on the FBS level, the Group of 5 level, and FCS level. That, like you said, there's no other D2s in the state of Florida, and so it becomes fortunately for us, that's a good thing. It is a destination spot, and I will say a little recruiting pitch: living at the beach ain't too bad either. And so it's easy for our guys to come in and see why we've been successful football-wise, but also been successful classroom-wise and enjoying Pensacola. And so, it's become a very good place to recruit to. Obviously, the early success, that sells recruiting itself right there. So we got to keep that rolling to keep everybody that we bring into the program doing a good job for the Argos.
I want to go on a tangent for a minute. Not even something I was really thinking about talking about, but you've mentioned culture a couple times, and you mentioned how maybe you can coach football differently than it has been in the past. What are your feelings on the cliche that they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care? Do you believe that that's accurate in coaching?
Absolutely. No, I think obviously back in the day you would say, hey, if a guy knew that you loved him or knew that you cared about him, he'd run through a brick wall for you. Well, usually we don't say that anymore because player safety and all that. We don't. Some of these guys actually would run through a brick wall. But it's 100% true. I mean, these guys. I mean, if a player knows that the coach isn't really worried about him, he's not caring about him off the field as a man, then he's not going to play as hard for you. So our guys know we're going to coach them hard, but it's with love. And I want our guys to know that we truly mean it when we love them. That they're just an extension of my family, and so. It's important for us to know and make sure the guys know that I'm not just worried about the 4-year version of them. I'm worried about the 40-year version. So when they're done playing and they're done hopefully NFL wise, they're done playing, they've got an education, they become a good man. And a lot of the things that we taught them in our program help lead them to that. So I want the guys to be able to, unfortunately, some of these guys, as we all know it, everybody thinks you figured life out when you're 18 to 22. So I tell them all the time, listen, we've sat in your shoes. We've sat in your chair. You got to listen to us. And sometimes what you think you may know is best for you may not be the best thing. So we tell them what they need to hear and not what they want to hear. And a lot of times those guys are appreciative of those things. They may not see it with them, but they see it later. So for us, it is important that they know we care about them and love them because they will play harder for us. But really, for the long term, that they come back and hug our neck and say, hey, thank you, Coach, for how you treated me when I was here as a player.
As we record this conversation, you have one spring practice left, which is your spring game tonight. First of all, why did you decide to conduct spring ball so early?
Well, for us, I've been a part of almost every type of version of spring ball as a player and a coach. I've been part of where you finish before spring break as a player. I've been part of it as a coach where you split it up in half, where you do it all after spring break. And for me, as I just sat down with our strength coach and I looked at our academic calendar, really once we get done with the spring game, tonight, they'll go to spring break tomorrow. And then when they come back, we have 5 weeks where we can lift and get stronger as a team. And so we have really 7 weeks left academically. So 2 things. The biggest thing for us is in the program is graduating in 4 to 4.5 years. And so for me, even more than we already have been, we can, as coaching staff, we can be doing class checks. We can be doing things to make sure they're going to class. We're not worried about practice. And then, if a D2 coach probably tells you that he has all 100 and whatever of his guys in there for workouts in the summer, I'd like to talk to him and figure out how he has it done because you can't financially do it. And so For me, it's, instead of our guys finishing spring break and they're gone the whole month of May and come back, at least I can, for 5 straight weeks, I can lift with a team, and I know everybody's going to be here during that last 2 weeks of March and early April. And so it was just big for us. It was kind of like, all right, well, let's do this. Let's see if we can get it done. And our guys have really enjoyed it. Because it was Pensacola. We're not living in the tundra up north in Minnesota and all that. So we've had some cold days, but if I told the coaches up north what cold meant for us, they would laugh at us. So it's really ideal. It's been great for our guys. They've loved it. Obviously, like you said, we're only practicing 14 times. Our 14th practice is a spring game. So it really has worked out well, and it helps out with academics and workouts after spring break.
What have you learned about your team so far?
We got a tough football team. I will say that. The guys that are here, they know how to scrap. They know how to battle through minor injuries. Obviously, a lot of that is a testament to the old staff and the people that have been here in the past, and just the culture that they've instilled. They're a great team with great character. A lot of good guys who know what it means to do right and wrong, both inside and outside the lines. And really some really, really ultra competitors, guys who hate to lose. And if you know anything about us, you're going to hear me talk about competing, about worrying about everybody. Don't worry about anything else but yourself. Just worry about the man in the mirror. And if we have everybody individually committed to doing that, then we have a good team. And so our guys, we got some really good athletes at all positions. It's just some really good guys on the team, good players that I know are going to be great football players and great men after they leave UWF.
Your 2023 schedule, you start off with Kentucky Wesleyan, McKendree. Then you play at Florida A&M, and then you open Gulf South Conference play with West Georgia. This is a little different for you. You were used to playing at the Blue Wahoo Stadium or coaching there too. Now you're playing on campus. Does it feel different to you?
Yeah, it will feel different. Obviously, practicing at home is a lot different than playing a game at home. When I first got back here, on my introductory press conference, I had the opportunity to go out on the field, and that was the first time I'd seen it with stands out there.
Right.
It just looks like a whole different place, whole other atmosphere. I've heard that it's been great as far as having fans coming on the field, game. You have a lot more student turnout because you're right there on campus, so it's easier for the students to get there to the game. Blue Wahoos was great, but I think this has made even more of a buy-in from the close people around campus to come watch a game and be able to sit there and hang out instead of having to drive downtown. So I'm excited about it. I can't wait to see it. Like you said, I've never been a part of a game here, so on campus. I'm excited to see how it looks like on game day.
Okay, well, we mentioned that you were a coach in your 2019 championship team, and not to put any pressure on you in your first year leading the Argo program, but what's your vision? How do you guys get back to the national championship game?
Yeah, for us, it's us not talking about the national championship. It's about just worrying about what we're doing today, because I think I've been a part of teams where the goal was to play in the national championship, and that was all we talked about, and usually that does not happen. Because it's we want to focus on the little things, the little details that get us there. The teams I've been on, I've been a part of 3 national championship game appearances as a player, and two as a coach. And for us, when I've played in the national championship, been a part of it, it's been, you kind of just look up and like, all right, we're in the national championship. Like this just happened because of what we did every single day. And our guys know, I talk about it all the time. It's just having a man in the mirror approach, just talking about and worried about ourselves, not worried about anything else outside. Because if you start worrying about outside factors, then you're not worried about what you're doing internally as a team. And so for us, it's just blocking out the outside noise, blocking out rankings, blocking out media, all that, just taking care of our business and making sure that we understand that if we do our job and the recruiting is taking itself talent-wise on our roster, that we have a chance to be really successful. And we feel like playing in the GSC prepares us for that, because there's some great teams that we're going to play week in and week out. So just taking care of our business, not worry about anything else outside of that.
All right, very good. That was Kaleb Nobles, first-year head coach at West Florida. Thanks for going inside D2 Football.